It's the Chevalier Cup at Sha Tin on Sunday, an outstanding undercard as well. 10 race programme, 2 on the all-weather, 8 on the turf. The feature race is race number 6. Very warm welcome to Racing to Win. I'm Andrew Jearn, joined here in the studio by... Oh, we've doubled up on the race callers. Paul Alley's away, so Brett Davis and John Blance. And John, the Chevalier Cup, really good mix of Class 1, some of the established gallopers and some of the up-and-comers too. Yeah, looking forward to seeing Booming Delight back at 1,600 metres, which is his best trip. 50-50 though, good to see him. And Exultant was very promising on debut, wasn't he? So he's an interesting contender too. Yeah, they've all got different targets as the season progresses. Brett, no jackpots as far as the Triple Trio and 6 are concerned. First starters, there are plenty and some really nice ones. You're so
far away over there. Yes, 14 new horses will be gracing the Sha Tin turf or dirt, as Andrew's mentioned, with 2 races on the dirt and 8 on the turf. So it's another day where we're going to learn a lot, and I think there'll be a number of horses out of this program that, should they run well, win or run well, will probably head to the international card. It's always a good card on International Day with some Class 3 or above races. So there's a number of sort of nice horses competing there on Sunday, and I think we'll see a few of them in a couple of weeks' time again.
Yeah. The first couple of races as well, John, if they win some of these favourites and some roll-up money, there might be some really short ones coming up later on. Yep, Super Missiles, first starter, should start pretty short in the first. And yeah, there's actually quite a few sort of shorties on the card as well, so there might be some skinny prices as the afternoon goes on. All right, we'll see if the boys are taking them on or not. As far as the programme is concerned, we have lost a couple of runners. Winners Follow Me out of race number 5, now replaced by Mr. Right, Keith Young in the saddle. And one of the horses that might have come up short as well, race number 8, Little Giant, unfortunately won't be going round now. It was a good race. Little Giant lame though, so he's not taking part in the 8th. We are on the C course though for the 8 turf races and 2 on the all-weather. 2 sprints as well, 1,000 metres is what we start with as well. A Class 4 with 5 debutants. Winning Supreme drops into Class 4 for the first time. Zero Hedge was a course and distance winner in May. Super 18, the first of debutants. Flash, Hero Time, Lucky Coin and Super Missile all hit the track for the first time. Lucky gets the blinkers on. Lee Power gets the blinkers on as well. Down to Hot Pepper. Still hasn't won, but good third last time out in Respect. Very close to a class drop. Yep, down the straight 1,000 for the opener. A couple of newcomers here, Flash and Hero Time, have both shown really good gate speed in their barrier trials, so expect them to kick on. Hot Pepper hasn't got a very good draw, but he shows good early pace as well. And Zero Hedge has got a better draw than last time.
Let's take a look at Zero Hedge firstly in the mornings. Of course, he ran first up last start, 7th behind Massive Move on that occasion. He had a gallop on the 19th and then this one on Thursday. So he's just ticking over, obviously. Going in second up, he should strip a little bit fitter. Super 18, one of the 5 newcomers in the race. Big burly type, he weighs in at 12.33 pound. He's an ISG. Didn't like his first trial. His second trial was quite good on the all-weather, but I get the feeling he's gonna come on with fitness. And this guy's very interesting, Super Missile. He's built like a tank, 1,241 pound. He takes a little bit of time to get moving, but he's got a real sprinter's build, big solid unit. And Butte showed a little bit at his debut performance, and then the form sort of dropped off. He hasn't had a run for a couple of months, but his work leading in, I think, has been fair. Interesting to note that he was lame after his last start 2 months ago. All right, OK, well, let's get into it. Starting with some of the horses that we have seen before, and that's Hot Pepper and Zero Hedge. Zero Hedge out in the middle of the track. He's come up with barrier 8 this time, and Hot Pepper, well, he's drawn barrier 2. Yeah, well, Zero Hedge got the worst possible draw, didn't he, down the centre of the track there on that occasion. Gate 8 is much better this time. Noticeable that Moreira has jumped on. Hot Pepper's the reverse. He got a good draw here, not so good this time round. But what this horse always has in his favour is he gets out the gate well. 1,000 metres does look to suit him, but as you mentioned earlier on, Andrew, he's not a prolific winner. Don't know about Zero Hedge. I mean, he looked very impressive on debut. The fact that Joe's sticking with him, he's probably worth another chance, but I'll be tipping against him to win. All right. Well, as far as the debutants are concerned, Super Missile has caused most buzz at the moment, and his jockey is Zach Byrne.
Zach, Super Missile, he's looked impressive for the barrier trials. Do you go in confidently with him on Sunday?
Yeah, he's a nice horse. You know, he's big, he's rangy, he's scopy. He's not your natural jump and run type, but, you know, he seems to have done everything right so far.
From gate 11, where do you think he'd be in the run?
Well, 1,000-metre races, you always hope that they jump well and they can be nice and handy.
Have you got a pretty good opinion of him then, overall?
Yeah, he doesn't really know what he's doing yet, and he seems to be going along quite nicely. So as he learns and gets more experience and goes up in trip as well, I think he should acquit himself well.
From that barrier trial too, the fact that he's been able to match it with the likes of Beat the Clock, Mr. Stunning, that obviously speaks well of his ability.
Yeah, the trial out of the form out of the trial is not much good, so we'll just see what happens.
You couldn't see Zach there, but he had his tongue planted firmly in his cheek.
Talking things down. We've heard that from him before too.
They can be flattered sometimes in the mornings, but he looks very good.
He does look very good. Obviously, he's matched most of those two. Actually, if you look back further in that trial, Golden Glory, who was huffing and puffing at the back of the field, he went and won at Happy Valley the other night. So the form of the trial doesn't look too bad.
It would have been impossible to tip him to Golden Glory off the back of that trial, but he did win, as John said. The little hindrance is he's a little bit slow to sort of get rolling, but he's just a big beast of an animal, and you saw what he did there against Mr. Stunning and Beat the Clock. I mean, that's the top-rated horse in Hong Kong, winning that trial. So I'd be surprised if he wasn't right in the finish.
And he's got a good draw as well, Gate 11. So.
He is. He's related to a Group 1 winner in Macau as well, for what it's worth. Sacred Hustler. That's a Super Missile. Super 18's the next one we'll have a look at. Another debutant, 3-year-old. He's an ISG. He's by Casamento. Yeah,
now I mentioned his first trial was a bit ordinary. This one was a little better. He got out of the gate sort of reasonably slowly, and then he whipped around them, and he worked a fair way round the side of the racecourse, and then here he sort of kept up a strong gallop. He's a big fellow. He's 12.33 pound. He's going to get better and better with racing, but the improvement he made from his first trial to second trial I thought was quite noticeable. The gate's a bit of a concern, barrier 3, and the fact that it's a 1,000-metre dash as well probably against him, but there's something there. Wouldn't be surprised to see him hit the line well at the end.
Flash does seem to have some early speed, John, and he's won a trial as well.
Yeah, he's had 3 trials in all in Hong Kong, and this was a pretty good effort, really, demonstrating that gate speed that I was talking about. Also, going back to the form of the trial, Affluent Start, who's quite a long way back here, he's run pretty well on debut at Happy Valley the other night. This fella, Gate 4, is a slight concern for me, but Manfred Mann is pretty good at getting them up first time, so I wouldn't rule him out.
All right. Hero Time, another one we can have a look at. Richard Gibson, Neil Callan. Got his head up when he came out of the gates, but again has shown a bit of pace, and the trials have been pretty solid. Yeah, they've got better and better. Both he and Flash are sort of going to be up there, and their trials, they've been running 59 plus. I can see a lot of pace in this race. We looked at the speed map earlier. Lucky with blinkers on as well. I think he'll travel forward, so the pace will be fairly frantic. I just wonder how these guys will be feeling when the pressure really goes in at the 400. They'll be up on the speed, but can they sustain it to the wire? I'm not quite convinced they will be able to, but we never know until they're placed under race pressure. Lucky Coin, he's come up with barrier 1. He's just had the one trial coming in. Yeah, but I like the way he hit the line, Andrew. He sort of sat back. He's got a lovely big action, this horse. It was only an 800-metre trial, as you mentioned, but he'll be run off his legs early, but I think when the pressure goes in, he might stay on a little better than some of the other first starters. That's my thought, but it's always interesting to try and see how it unfolds and what they have got to offer when they are placed under pressure. Well, it's interesting. He's only trialled twice in his career as well, this fella, so they've obviously decided he's ready, so interesting. All right, and Michael Friedman has delivered one first up as well quite recently. So how do you line this one up then, Brett, with the debutants? Look, I think that Super Missile is obviously going to be the horse to beat. He's the one I've got on top. I expect him to just sit in probably sort of midfield early and then gradually improve. I think Lucky with the blinkers on, he's had a lot of racing now, Lucky. We know he's got some ability. That run behind Alcari highlighted it. And then I've got Zero Hedge in, but I'm a little bit iffy about him. And Lucky Coin, the one we just looked at, the most recent one from Michael Friedman, he's out. I think he'll close off OK, but I'm going to go with the Q7 and 8. I'm going to work around the horse I think's a standout in the 7, and the 8's got some runs under the belt already. Yep, same for me. Going to go with his favourite on top. He's going to be pretty tough to beat. Super Missile from his good gate as well. Zero Hedge, I think, can run much better than he did last time. Hero Time of the other newcomers, I think he's got all that is required to go pretty well as well on debut. And the one I've slung in at a slightly bigger price is Butte. The last time he got a good draw over this course and distance, he didn't do too badly. He wasn't beaten too far. It wasn't a particularly great race, but it was a decent effort. So I think he might be able to get in there at a big price for one of the minor placings. So 7, 2, 5 and 12 for me. All right, no arguments for me either. I think it'd be very hard to beat in the opener. Super Missile.